Hi, and welcome to SimpleSpiritualityPH. So, for those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Regine. I am an intuitive tarot reader, I'm a Reiki healer, and an overall lightworker. Now, before we dive into today's episode, I would like to invite everyone who would like to receive notifications on my new videos to please hit the subscribe button below. If you like this video later on, hit the thumbs up. If you have any comments or suggestions you want to say hey, just comment down below. And if you would like your very own tarot reading or Reiki healing session with me, online for now, of course, here are the details. Now, I do have a June promo, and that is an online face-to-face video tarot reading session for 30 minutes. If you're interested, or if you want to book a session, follow me on Instagram or on Facebook, and you can message me there for more details or to simply book a session with me. All right? Okay. So this video is going to be really candid, and it's actually because I find that a lot of people have been asking me how I manifest money. Now, I am a conscious manifester. I love being in control of my life. I love knowing that I can create my own reality. I love manifesting, and actually manifesting is an automatic thing for us. It's not like we choose to manifest today. No, because we manifest everything in our lives, whether we want it or not. It's like breathing, basically. It just happens. And when we do it every day. So let's go back to the very beginning. I was not always good with money. I had a terrible relationship with money in the past. Ever since I started working, I was not able to really save enough money. During my first with the first 3 jobs that I had, I was not saving at all. And there was even a time that I was living off 4,000 pesos, that's Philippine pesos, a month, because I was on an internship and they wouldn't regularize me. And actually for that time I was lucky because I live with my parents. Actually here in the Philippines, we all live with our parents well into after graduation, after we get married, and after we have kids, and after our kids have kids. So it's that kind of thing here in the Philippines, and that's the norm. That's majority of the people here in the Philippines. So it was the same way for me. But even though I was living off that 4,000 pesos a month, I would still pay for little expenses around the house, like a newspaper, the monthly gas bill, because we use a gas tank to fire our stovetop. So I would pay for that. And in those years, those were really lean years. I wasn't able to save anything during those years. I didn't have a centavo to me. I didn't have even just 1 peso to me in general. But prior to my 4,000 pesos a month job, I was studying voice, so I had to pay for my tuition. And yeah, in general, I just did not have savings. And I didn't understand why every time I would get money, every time money would come to me, something would always take it away from me. It would either be I owed someone from the past, and they're asking for their payment, or let's say, for example, something of mine needed repairing, or I needed to buy myself a new pair of shoes because my old pair of shoes broke, or it would either be the bills needed to be paid already, that kind of thing. And I really didn't understand why that was. I was trying so hard on the outside world, on the physical world, to really make my money stay in my bank, because it really wasn't happening, and I had no idea why that was. Now, a couple of years later, maybe 3-4 years later, I met my mentor, my spiritual mentor, who is also my spiritual dowser, and I asked her this particularly. I asked her, why is it that every time I have money, it would never stay with me? I would always lose it. It would always go to someone else, always go to something else. But I was actually really good at attracting money. I wasn't aware of it at that time because I wasn't consciously using the law of attraction for money at that time. I knew of it and I was practicing it the wrong way, but I knew what it was, but I wasn't really harnessing it the way that it should have been harnessed. So what came out was basically that I had a past life in which I was a monk. And what I would do all day in that past life was just to sit down and meditate and ask for money from different realms, from different worlds, from different realities. And people would always come to my aid. They would always give me money. But the thing was, that money wasn't for me. It would always go to the monastery. So I was a great, excellent attractor of money. And it would always be given to me, which was the case back then. I would always obtain it, and in large sums. But it would never stay with me because I would always give it to the monastery. And I realized that because of that, I had taken it all the way up to this life. I didn't know that it was a past life. I didn't know that the core reason of it was a past life thing, because at the time I didn't know about dowsing yet. I wasn't a dowser yet. But it was because of that past life that I was in that kind of belief system. Because I didn't remember where that belief of money doesn't come to me began. I didn't have a recollection of it anywhere, but I knew that something was up. I knew that it was a pattern in me, and of course it had to come from somewhere, because it didn't just, spark up in me randomly, but it had to come from somewhere. And that was basically like the aha moment for me. I realized that because of that, I had carried on a pattern of, not really a pattern, I had carried on a belief that I obtained money quickly, but it would never stay with me. Like other people need money more than I do, or that I wasn't worthy of keeping the money that I earned. And from that point on, I eliminated that belief completely, 100%. Because if other people were worthy of it, then I sure as hell am worthy of it. Every person on earth is worthy of money, is worthy of wealth, and is worthy of abundance. And not just monetary abundance, not just financial abundance, but abundance in joy, abundance in love, abundance in happiness. And so that really hit me. And it was at that point that I really started to change my mindset. My mentor and I, we doused that experience from my past life, and now it was at that point that I really started to stick by my idea, by my new belief that I was worthy of money, and that everything I earned was for me. That was money that I earned, and that was money that was going to stay in my bank account forever until I wanted to use it, until I wanted to utilize it for something or someone, until I said so, basically. It was a very slow climb, a slow slope up. I don't know if that's a thing, but it was a very slow process because, of course, I was coming from a place of lack. I was coming from a place of, well, right now I don't have money, so what am I going to practice it on? But what I used to do was I found myself writing in my journal every night that I had enough money to go to a vacation in Greece or in Australia or in New York or in Spain, all that stuff. All the vacations that I wanted to take. I found myself writing down also that I had enough money to take this particular class that I wanted. I had enough money to buy this particular thing that I wanted, and that I was enjoying it. And I didn't know, but that was actually what Neville Goddard was describing as living in the end. I was feeling that feeling of doneness. I was feeling myself as having that much money to do the things that I wanted, to have the things that I wanted, to buy the things that I wanted. And now that I am a conscious manifester, that I study manifesting as well, and that I incorporate it into all of the areas of my life, basically, I realize that it's really as simple as that. It's really as simple as making a decision of today I'm going to earn money, today I'm going to have money, or money's going to be given to me, and it's going to stay in my bank account until I say so, because I'm worthy of it, because everyone is worthy of it, and therefore so am I, because I worked for it, sometimes hard, sometimes easy, but either way, it's my money, and whatever money was given to me is meant for me, you know? And that was basically it. It took a while. I have to say that it didn't happen overnight. It happened through a gradual couple of years. I first started journaling about money back in 2016 was my first entry, but I didn't do it diligently every night. But I would do it when I felt in the mood for it, which is also very important, because again, when you live in the end, you want to live in the feeling that it's already done. It's already happened to you. You're already rich. You're already a millionaire. Everything's already be done. You already have it, basically. So I wouldn't do it every night, but I would certainly do it when I felt like it. And it was about last year actually that I said, how far can this go? How much more could I earn by doing my living in the end, by manifesting it consciously, deliberately, by calling it in deliberately? So I started meditating on it, and I started to create a visual scene of, when you have those, like, for example, game shows, and the contestant goes into like a hub, and all of a sudden money gets like thrown around, like it's like a vacuum, and then all the money goes around, and the contestant can just like pick up all the money and kind of like keep whatever they have. I would always imagine myself being a contestant in one of those game shows and doing that, and just getting all the money that I can and being able to keep them. Sometimes I would imagine my ATM, the screen of my ATM, and seeing my desired amount there, which has happened twice. I got the exact amount that I imagined in my mind on the screen of my ATM. Sometimes I would imagine finding money on the street, which I always do now. I always find money on the street, and no one's conveniently around for me to, ask if it was theirs. This happens all the time to me. Almost every week it happens to me. I imagine finding money in my pocket. I imagine finding money in my bag. And yeah, basically just anywhere. I imagine my salary from my day job just rising and rising and rising. And that's been a really effective thing for me. And it always puts me in a good mood. And it also it reminds me that money just doesn't have to come from your salary. You can pick it off the street, again, which happens to me almost every single week. I always find money on the street, and there's no one around to ask if it's their money. Excuse me. So there's no one there, so it's mine. And yeah, that's basically it. That's how I, that's how I maintain it. But I would just like to say that if you are in a position where you're feeling kind of down about money, because I realize that during this quarantine, a lot of people may have lost their jobs. They may have lost their main source of income. I mean, their companies may be downsizing their salaries, or they may be spending They may be spending more than what they're earning. And this is actually a shout out to all of you guys to say that nothing is impossible when it comes to your monetary situation, or any situation for that matter. Nothing is impossible. So if you are part of that demographic, that associates with right now there's not a lot of money to go by. Right now you're feeling kind of a lack of it. There's not much in your bank account, or if you have been laid off, if you're experiencing a great loss when it comes to your savings because of this pandemic, start to live in the end of having money. I know it's difficult in the beginning, and I can attest to that. I had, again, zero savings, and I don't know where I got the will, but I just basically decided that I didn't want to focus on the lack anymore because it doesn't feel good, of course. I mean, why would I do that to myself for a prolonged period of time when I can have a solution, right? And I wanted to make things better for myself. And please know that you, too, can also make it better for yourself. Simply make that decision of believing that, yes, even though I don't have a job right now, money can still come. Even though I'm experiencing a lack of money right now, money can still come. In fact, loads of it can still come. I could pick up a winning lotto ticket in the bathroom and I'd be a millionaire in a day. You know, I could pick up 1,000 pesos, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 pesos anywhere and I'd be X percentage richer. So many things can happen for you. It just doesn't have to come from your salary. Open yourself to the idea that money can come from so many other avenues, and it wants to come to you. It wants to be with you. It wants to sustain you. Treat it as you would a friend whom you haven't seen in a long time. You want to get to know them. You want to be in their presence, and you really appreciate them. So basically, in a nutshell, that's it. I mean, I did say that I was going to go candid, and that's a story basically of that's my money story. Right now, I just have fun visualizing about money, and every time I spend and I receive money, I always say thank you, but I've upgraded it to what Ken Honda says as, what is it? I forget the term, but basically, it's just saying thank you in Japanese. I always say thank you whenever I spend money, whenever I receive money, whenever I give money, whenever I pay my bills, everything. Anything that has to do with money, any transaction giving or receiving, I always say thank you for that presence because that doubles whatever money that I'm giving, whatever money I'm receiving. And yeah, just make that decision for yourself. You don't have to be stuck in a position where you don't have money all the time. I've been there. I've experienced it to its almost pure full extent, and I've gotten out of it. And I know that you can too. Okay? So yeah, if you like that little sharing, please hit the thumbs up. If you have any comments or suggestions, you want to say hey, comment down below. If you would like to receive notifications of my new videos, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you would like your very own tarot reading or Reiki healing session with me, online for now, of course, here are the details. Again, I do have a promo in June. It is a face-to-face tarot reading, online, of course, session, 30-minute session. And if you want to know more details, simply follow my Facebook or my Instagram. And I'll see you guys next time. Stay happy, stay healthy.